Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today we've got a very special guest, Lilian Jiang, and we are going to discuss some of the issues right now in America involving immigration. Welcome to the show, Lilian.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Well, let's get right into it. Obviously, immigration is a huge, big issue, and there's lots of moving parts, but who specifically is it that you help in your practice?
Normally the legal temporary visitors or illegal aliens who have been in the country for years.
Mm-hmm. And you are based in Westlake Village, which is in California. Whereabouts is that exactly?
Yeah, it's about 45, 50 miles northwest of Los Angeles. It's in between Santa Barbara and Los Angeles. Okay,
so there are definitely some immigration issues in California and LA specifically. What are the issues that are going on in the state right now?
I think the most controversial issue is we are located in the like Oxnard, Camarillo, and Ventura. You know, I'm 20 minutes away. Westlake Village sounds like closer to Los Angeles, or it's a more well-to-do community as compared with Ventura, Camarillo, Oxnard. Those are primarily agricultural lands. So I think the most important issue in this area, Southern California, is the strawberry pickers and house cleaners and all these workers who spent many years here, raised their family, but they couldn't get legalized. So when I first started in Ventura County, which is Southern California, and I originally was practicing only employment-based high-tech engineers, scholars, professors, specialized personnel. However, I realized the nature of the community, there's a huge need for strawberry pickers, restaurant waiters, chefs, and house cleaners, fast food workers. Then I realized I had to make myself versatile to be able to help the illegal aliens as well as some criminal aliens. They face deportation. I defend them in deportation court. So I became more versatile after I moved from San Francisco area to Southern California. So the most critical issue here is we used to have a lot of unannounced raids at the workplace from United States Immigration Service from Los Angeles. In the past 10 years, the situation became better. They punished the employers by imposing a financial penalty for hiring illegal aliens. So I see that as a big issue, and I know Obama's administration, Obama's executive order is now in limbo because one Supreme Court justice just passed, and they originally agreed on hearing one of the Texas case. Texas compared with California is more conservative. So some of my clients are holding high hopes for that Supreme Court review and hearing of the case, but now, again, it's in limbo. Basically, the executive order covers all the U.S. citizens' parents, the minor U.S. citizen parents, even though they crossed the border, they stayed here for more than many, many years illegally, they will get some kind of protection for not being forced out. So that's one of the issues in the executive order. So that's mostly discussed in my community.
So it seems like there's a lot of illegal workers in, California as a whole, and you said that there's punishment for the employers to hire people if they don't have the correct documentation. So is it your job, is that what you're doing, is to try and get these people correct documentation?
Actually, I don't do a lot of I-9 authentication because the I-9, one of the form required by immigration regulation now, in the most recent 10 years, is it's basically human resource task. I do sometime, upon request, I do review documentation as requested. However, my major part is to help the legal non-immigrants or illegal aliens here to find out and identify their right, correct legal path to their legal permanent residency.
And what's the problem? What problems do they have? Obviously, they don't have the legal documents, but speak to me about some of the problems that are going on inside their mind and why they need to be talking to an immigration attorney to get these problems fixed.
Typically, the Latino community here, the majority of them Spanish-speaking, they typically hire notary public. In the strip mall or whatever they can find, tax consultant to do all the paperwork. However, it turned out majority of the cases were not successful because those people are not trained. So they had many occasions they got money taken, but no results coming out of it. So I think the reason they wanted to hire attorney is the tax consultant and the notary public now are infamous. Their reputation has been ruined. So I think they really, most of the time they listen to the radio. I understand they look at the Latino newspaper and they thought there will be some new law, but they probably only know the name or only some superficial understanding. They don't have an in-depth understanding. For instance, the 601A pardon, which were recently issued, might be 2 or 3 years ago. It's a very useful tool for spouses of a U.S. citizen to stay here and to get everything done before they were sent to Ciudad Juarez to do the final step. So most of them don't quite understand the complexity of the nature of the application, because we normally submit evidence after evidence in like 20 to 30 pages in our waiver application. So I think most of them, because they were cheated by notary publics and the so-called tax consultants, tax preparer / immigration consultants in this state. So a lot of them, they learn and then they wanted to seek more professional advice.
Right. And like you said, the application can be very daunting for a lot of these people trying to get legal citizenship or a green card, and going to somebody that isn't completely knowledgeable is sometimes it might look more it might look better for them because they're not paying as much money, but at the same time, they're actually losing money if they don't submit the correct forms at the right time. So they really need to go with an expert that knows what they're doing.
Yes.
So what would you say is your magic ability? We talked about these other people in the strip mall that, are offering lesser service, but what is your magic ability? Why do people go to you as a client for help?
Okay. First of all, I'm very strong in writing and research because I had been trained to do that with law school and a master's degree in comparative literature, bachelor degree in English and American literature back from another country. Secondly, I I practice law not because, not only because of financial benefits. I picked up this career at the age of 32, going to law school with 2 children in the evening. So it's a hell of a lot of courage. And if I don't have passion for it, I wouldn't have done that. Even today, when I think about it, I'm not sure I could have done that. At the age of 32 with 2 children, the family doesn't need a financial support. I decided to pursue something which can keep me passionate for the rest of my life, which is a career instead of a job. Certainly, I think I am fascinated by this country's constitutional law. I'm an immigrant myself. So I really, I think I could offer a lot more to the people who need help because I have a unique experience. I came here 31 years ago as a student, and I did my own legal permanent residency while I was a secretary with a law firm. So I think my experience is very unique. I understand their needs, and I understand the whole mentality of immigrant generation.
Okay, and we can definitely hear your passion when you're talking about this. And this is a major problem in the country. And, the people who need help need to be able to trust people like yourself. And, when they know that when you have their best interest at heart, it gives them a lot more comfort working with you, knowing that it's not just about the finances, like you said. It's, you're willing to help and you're going to do whatever you can to help them. So that is excellent. So talk to me about a couple of misconceptions maybe about the service you provide or the results that it produces. If somebody hires you, are they guaranteed to get the visa or the citizenship that they're after?
Very good question. I have encountered that issue throughout my practice of 18, 19 years. I think the number one misconception is once somebody hires an attorney, surely it's going to go somewhere. The result will be good, okay? Once you hire an attorney, there's something going on, which is totally misconception because a lot of time when a client walks into my office, I am very honest with them. That's my character too. So I will tell them, hey, there's no guarantee. I could only do the best I can. Fortunately, whenever I take a case, the success rate is amazingly high because I already evaluated the risks and the pros and cons and the percentage. So if somebody walks in and tell me, I had a deportation record, I came back, but they all say you're a great attorney, I'm pretty sure you can help. I said, I experienced. However, I cannot guarantee even the best case scenario. I will never tell any clients, like my engineers, PhDs, scientists in Amgen and all these, I will tell them, hey, I know I can do your case and I can succeed, but I'm not going to say 100%. So that's number one misconception.
Okay, and give me a couple of examples. So it's just because you got a checkbook and you can pay the fees to get everything done doesn't mean that you actually have the paperwork and everything that you have to prove that you're eligible to stay in the country or to work in the country.
Right, because a lot of them come in the office and say, hey, the other attorney tell me I can do this. And, I had a deportation record, but I don't think I remember I fingerprinted. They just send me back. I didn't sign any documents, for instance. And then, as a cautious practitioner, I would have conducted an independent research either by FBI fingerprint or Freedom of Information Act research, and I'll pay them a fee and ask whether there's any record just like the client told you. So if the record came out that they crossed the border, get caught a couple of times, when they told me in my office they only get caught probably once or twice. They don't remember fingerprinting or not. I don't think they're trying to distorting the facts, but things happened 15, 20 years ago. We cannot hold people liable for forgetting it. So I would tell them, hey, look, that's what I got from the government. I don't think I can help you, even though you think by paying me a lot of bucks, whatever other attorneys charge you, I still don't want your case. It's not I don't want to help you, but the fact is I don't think you're eligible for anything.
Right. Well, that's certainly good upfront information. Yeah. To get that kind of information up front is going to save them a lot of money in the long term. But give me a couple of examples. I love the win-win situation. One enjoyment I have obtained from practicing law is, I can help the client achieve their American dream. So it's a win-win situation. To me, it's more important than making some money at that point. Yeah, speaking to that concept right there and helping people to, make their dreams come true and live in the American dream, give me some examples or an example of, somebody that you were able to help and the difference that it made to them and their family. I remember years ago, a young man came to my office and said he tried everything. He couldn't get the green card at all. He was an able and willing contributor to society, raising a family of his own. And he works in a restaurant and was a very skillful chef. And then he at least showed me 3 attorneys before me. They all did different curveballs, but nothing seemed to me make sense. So I told him, he was referred by another attorney, not immigration attorney, my friend. So he got very good recommendation, but I told him, you know what, I'm shocked. All these attorneys are doing all these curveballs and charge you $5,000, $7,000. My fee is only probably half of that, but I will do the right thing because I don't think they did the right job. He was crying. He was in tears. He had, 3 children. He has been paying tax all the time. He has been waiting more than 10 years for this green card. And the employer is able and willing to sponsor him, but he just never found the right person. So it took me 1.5 years, and here he was, received the green card, and he was so happy. He hugged me, and he was in tears, and I felt at that moment, I'm better than ambulance chaser. Right. Yes, definitely. When you have a passion for your work, it is a lot easier to, get through the hard days, certainly. And, it makes a huge difference in people's lives. You are making a huge difference in people's lives. And, it really touches a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are here that just don't have the information that you have in order to get everything straight. And, it really makes a big difference to families. It's not just, 1 or 2 people. There's a lot of people, the families that are attached to these illegal immigrants. And if we can get them legally working and paying taxes and contributing, like you said, that is the whole goal. So yes, it's a pleasure. Talk to me a little bit about the future of immigration. Where do you think it's going to go? What laws are going to be passed depending on who gets into office? Wow. That is almost like fortune telling. First of all, I'm not very politically well informed. Secondly, I was hoping it's really an ambivalent feeling. On one hand, I was trained in San Francisco as a paralegal to
to do all employment-based green card, legal permanent residency. So you're talking about master degree above, bachelor degree, PhDs, all professionals in this country, electrical engineer, software engineer. So that was my expertise in my earlier legal life, in the 1990s, 80s, in the end of, I was trained there, so I was very good at that. And so on one hand, I'm saying ambivalent feeling because these engineers and all top talents in this country are facing tremendous difficulty in getting the green card. Any engineers with a master degree from India and China, especially these two countries, because they produce a lot of students in this country, footed the bill of a lot of private colleges. They have to wait average 5 to 7 years to get a green card, even you do everything legally. So I felt it's on one hand they don't want to, the Congress didn't want to raise the H-1B, the much heated H-1B quota. It's still 65,000 a year, and this year only 30% applicants can get a quota. We just submitted. So that's, I felt, compared with the illegal alien who crossed the border, there are a bunch of politicians saying, we need to build a wall. We cannot let the illegal alien come in. Anybody born here shouldn't be automatically be citizen, persuade to Constitution, blah, blah, blah. So I have an ambivalent feeling because I think this country needs both top talented engineers, innovative scientists, as well as, like California, strawberry pickers, house cleaners, simply because, in Southern California, we all know no able and qualified and willing U.S. workers will, like me, will pick strawberry, I'm saying. Okay, right. So it's an ambivalent feeling if the executive order only gives the illegal aliens some break because they have U.S.-born children to stay here, okay, not for green card yet, just to stay here, not face deportation. I totally agree. I mean, our hands won't be tied. We can do much more to help them. However, the other side of the coin is top talents are facing project finished. They have to wait 5 to 6 years. Employer changed. It's really agonizing because, we came as students. My husband had a PhD, and we all went through that process. So I have an ambivalent feeling. If you want me to fortune tell any law changes, I'm not optimistic. I'm pretty pessimistic. I don't think anything will change soon.
Yeah, it's very touchy subjects, I guess. You have people on both sides of the fence or the wall, as it would seem. It is harder now for qualified people to enter into the United States to, do the jobs that, there's a need for, like you said, with the engineers. We need to be filling these jobs, and companies are looking to fill these positions, but there aren't enough qualified people there. At the same time, the ones that are here illegally and are doing the strawberry picking and the house cleaning jobs, they are very good workers, and they're willing workers, and they're willing to work hard to make the money, and the American citizens aren't willing to do that same kind of work. So as an employer, it does seem more attractive to hire people are going to work harder for you. But
yeah, the only optimistic viewpoint is 2 of my children got accepted in Stanford, and I see an increase of number of students choosing engineering, science and technology. So I hope, this country does not need so many foreign workers, hopefully, but I'm not sure. I haven't conducted statistic research. That's the only thing I see. In recent years, there's an increase, and due to encouragement of going to science and technology in this country, the education system.
Right. And, there's certainly a lot of jobs that are leaning to that kind of work. There's always going to be a need for, scientists and engineers. But talk to me a little bit about the employer in this situation. If they are hiring illegal workers, what are the repercussions for that?
Most employers are well educated now because the labor law attorney are well informed now. I talk to them all the time. They call me for I-9 issues. So I would say Southern California, most employers are well informed. They know how to check the employer session on USCIS.gov. There's a handbook to tell employer and human resource what kind of documents are sufficient to prove their legal status to work, and what kind of penalty if they get audited and they were discovered they possess knowledge to hire or harbor illegal aliens. So it's pretty strict. First time there's probably about approximate $1,000 penalty, but if the second time they realize you still continue the pattern, then there will be a more financial penalty, and then potentially it could be criminal penalty and charge too. So it's pretty established right now. Employers are very cautious. They don't want to hire illegal aliens. The only issue is some of them got the Social Security card or some fake document on the streets, okay? And none of the employers were trained. Same Miss here. I was not trained. I couldn't tell the difference. So there are still situations like that, but they just have to deal with it. Once they realize it's a fake document, they have to terminate, but without violating labor law. So labor law is pretty tough. They protect employees. You cannot let your employee go without much reason. So it's a catch-22 here. I talk to so many labor law attorneys all the time in Ventura County, and it's such a tough gray line. We don't even know which way to go.
Mm-hmm. So where do you think this is going in the future for California specifically? Do you think this problem with immigration is ever going to be fixed?
Good question. I really don't know. I think California, being a Democratic state, they're much more liberal than Texas, right? So I think they already give the illegal alien driver license, Not every state is agreeable of that. So I could only tell you recently, in the recent 5 or 7 years, I don't receive as many phone calls as before from the employers who are caught in panic situation, either unannounced audit on site or a unannounced raid from USCIS or Customer Service Border Patrol Agency. So I don't receive as many calls as before. I think Obama's administration has recognized, if there are illegal aliens, although they're illegal, if they don't have felony criminal records or, maybe these people are not their targets. They need to deport all the criminal aliens first, I guess. But certainly the punishment for employers knowingly hiring or harboring illegal aliens is pretty stiff.
Yeah, well, that seems to be working. And, if the employers are hated and there's stiff penalties, it certainly seems to be working to stop a lot of those issues from taking place.
Yes, definitely it's effective. They are all very cautious now.
Well, I really appreciate you, Lilian. Thanks for doing what you do. You are certainly making a difference to a lot of people's lives. Tell me, somebody who is having an immigration problem, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, our phone number is 805 area code 493-1144. Or I have my email address is lilianjiang.law@gmail.com. And we normally don't advertise. It's by by mouth and referral, because I don't think I need to advertise anymore, because if people like us, their cousins, their brothers, their whole family will be here. So
that's right. Well, when you provide great service, there's always going to be a line to your door. Well, I appreciate you being on the show today, Lilian. I appreciate all the knowledge that you have shared with our audience. And, if you are needing help, and Lilian certainly sounds like she can help you, give her a call or an email. But until next time, we thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time on the show.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.